Okay, so I've been asked a few times how I created this video, and I'm going to show you quickly now what it is. So it's quite a simple effect really to achieve. You can do this with plugins. There's a free plugin called Sabre by Video Copilot. It's very effective for this, but I prefer personally to work without any plugins if I can. So I'm just going to show you now how I did it. Firstly, I've got my footage imported here, and I'm just going to show you the basics of how I imported that footage. I hit Control D to duplicate it, and then I went along and broke up each of the shots, because as you can see, my clip I'm working with today is made up of quite a lot of different shots. So Control Shift D, and that's just going to split it there. I went along and did this for each shot, and as you can see, that created this timeline. These ones are all pre-composed. I'm going to be starting just over here with this file, which is as far as I've got here on this save. I'm just going to right click that and pre-compose. That's going to bring up this, which I can label. I like to keep everything nice and organized, give it a name. I'm going to move all the attributes into there, but we have no effects applied to it just yet. We can then Alt and double click on that, and it's going to open up that individual pre-comped layer. We can hit the paintbrush up here, or Control B, and that will allow us then to draw on the clip. If we double click once again on this layer, we're now in the layer editor here, no longer the composition. In a solid red, just because it's really easy to see and we can change the color later. So I'm just going to zoom in. I'm going to take a look at the shot, what we've got here. We've got some sort of movement, I believe, for this one. I already did it. I'm going to do real simple. You can do as much detail as you like, and on some of the other shots I have put in quite a bit of detail. Your brush panel should open up just over here, and you can select whatever size brush you want. If you want to get in there and do some real sort of high detail, I like to sort of follow the creases on the clothes, that kind of thing, right? And I'm just going to really roughly do this. You can spend as much time as you have on this. And then I'm just going to use page down and just go to the next one. I'm just going page up, page down to see where I was. And I'm just going to add in a few more of these lines. So I'm going to skip forward now and just sort of show you the finished thing. We now have a kind of very rough effect on there. So we're going to come into our effects controls up here, and as you see, we've got paint, and we're going to set this to paint on transparent. That's going to remove the video and give us just the painted sections. If we go back over here to our original comp, we can now see we've got the original layer here at the bottom. That's providing the video, and a composition that is just providing the scribbles. I'm going to start off just by taking a glow and throwing that straight on there. So I'm going to pop the threshold up just a little bit, just around 70 will do. The radius, that also we can go up just a tiny bit. I'm going to take that to almost about 30. And the intensity, again, maybe just pop it up just a tiny bit, 1.5. There we go. That looks nice. And then I'm going to grab another glow and throw that on top. Okay, so this is looking not too good right now, but what we want to do is go into the threshold again. We're going to bring that down this time, which means more of it's going to glow. It's going to affect more. We're going to throw the radius really high on this one, something like 100, and that looks nice. And the intensity, we're going to go even higher with that, right? Now bear with, that looks okay, quite bad right now, but what we're going to do is we're going to change the colors to A and B, which allows us to define them. And I'm actually going to go and throw like a yellow on that, which just gives us a little bit more control knowing where it's going. Okay, and now you can play around with this a little bit more if you like. So next we're going to add a hue and saturation to the effect. Now we're going to set this to colorized, and this is going to be the way that we can control the color. Now straight away we want to bring the saturation right up and the lightness. We want to kind of balance this, so we need to get this just right, that we're not losing it all and just making it white, but we're not dull either. So somewhere in the middle, I usually like around there. And we're also going to set the layer to add. That's going to make it look a lot brighter and a lot nicer. We want to make sure we're working in a 32-bit project. That's really important as well. If you're not working in a 32-bit project, your colors just aren't going to glow as nicely either. You can do that from just down here, depth, 32 bits per channel. This is where I like to maybe throw in a levels as well. So I'm going to take a levels and put it on the top. And as you can see, this just gives me a little bit control over the image. So if I bring my blacks up, that's going to just bring us a little bit more of the color in there, and bring those whites down. So again, we're getting a little bit more color in it. And we can shift this about here in the image as well, and just get the real desired look we want. So if we go too far this way, it's going to blow it all out, which sometimes you might be going for that, but let's try and maintain some of that detail that we have there. Okay, that's looking quite nice, and I might even take this second one, which is our outer glow, and just turn the radius down just slightly and the intensity up even higher. So that's quite a strong effect we've got there. This is a wide glow. If you want to bring that radius down, that's going to give you a much more neat and small looking, kind of like your typical Sabre effect. So if we take a look at that, small radius like this, it's going to be a little bit more of a lightsaber effect. And now that is essentially the effect, and you can play with this. It's important when doing things like this is just to follow the motion, and that's what's really going to make it look nice. But there's a ton of different uses. You can do all sorts with this and really sell it in. If you want to sell the effect, it's really often quite a nice idea to add some contact lighting. You can do that quite simply. You can make a new solid, make it nice, sort of match our blue color. Take a ellipse. Draw a nice mask on that. I'm doing this real quick, and sort of try and match that to the floor. Set this to add as well. Give it a massive feather. Maybe pop the opacity down. That's just T to bring that up. And there you go. That's just gonna just set it in the scene a little bit more. That's probably still a little way too strong on there. You really don't want to do too much of that. And if your shot's moving, you are going to have to track it in manually. But maybe that's a tutorial for another day. Sorry if this was a bit rushed, but hopefully it kind of gets you started and helps along the way. So yeah, thanks.